If you're busy running a design firm and I was to say systematize the business, it sounds like a project that you'll do next month, doesn't it? And then next month is going to turn into next quarter, and suddenly the projects will keep on running as they are with the same problems repeating. Here is the alternative: don't systematize everything in the single shot. Instead, just try to systematize the next project. That sounds smaller, but it does change the problem completely because you no longer have to redesign and manage everything that people are already doing. You only need to make the next piece of work that enters, moves, and finishes through a better system and then do it again and again. That's how organizational capability builds, and it compounds without becoming a giant transformational headache. Thing is, all in one systematization anyway typically fails because the firm already has active work, and suddenly you introduce 20 new rules, 5 new tools, and 50 pages of SOPs. And what happens? Team friction. Team starts to experience the system as additional load on top of existing work. A better approach tends to follow a simpler bite sized chunking kind of logic. Start this process where the demand enters, then start to control decisions, then control the procurement, and finally capture the organizational memory. The system grows with the work instead of interrupting its flow. So, week one, the front door, apply client qualification and risk discovery to new leads. Don't redesign every single existing project, that's not needed. Change how the next project and only the next project enters the organization. And then, week two, decisions. Introduce milestones, approvals, decision records, and change control. Stop important decisions from disappearing into conversations. And then week three, procurement. Standardize the procurement workflow. Start with one vendor if you have to, but record his performance, the specifications, the approvals. Start building organizational procurement intelligence. And then week four, continuity. Move the information people need repeatedly, right, into some kind of shared systems like project histories, current drawings, client decisions, vendor commitments, open issues. But one note of caution here: don't measure the first 30 days by over the count of systems or SOPs or documents that you ended up creating. Measure instead through conversations, perhaps. What happened when the next problem arrived? Did somebody still have to talk to the founder for an approval? Did they still have to search through WhatsApp messages? Did somebody still reconstruct what the client decided? If the answer is yes, then the system hasn't completely worked or hasn't worked at all. Either way, it hasn't really removed the dependency yet. Thing is, 30 days are not going to transform the firm into some kind of a perfect organization, right? That's not the point either. The point is that the new work now enters through a different, more evolved system. That means that clients are qualified differently. Risk is visible earlier. Decisions are now recorded, and procurement becomes a lot more consistent. In fact, even something like knowledge that begins to accumulate inside the organization rather than leaving with the people through the door. Then the next project is going to benefit from what the previous project taught you. And that ultimately is the philosophy behind compounding an organization itself. The end goal of the systematization and compounding and all of that is not more process. It's essentially less dependency on founder, on designer, on vendor relationship, on memory, and on market advantage that disappears when technology changes. That's how a design firm scales. Not because it became a bigger version of some fragile organization, but by becoming an organization that becomes stronger with each new project, stronger as it grows. And the test is very simple to see whether it's achieving these goals. When the next project arrives, does your firm begin slightly smarter because of everything that you've been doing and everything that you've been learning from the previous projects? If yes, then you're not just growing, you're compounding your capabilities and becoming a stronger organization. And that's what this entire series has been about. Thank you.